Now to the crisis in Puerto Rico. Here is a look at the latest numbers. 85% of the people on the island still don't have power. There are at least 19,000 federal civilian and military personnel on the ground. Around 77% of Puerto Rico's grocery stores are open. About 45% still don't have drinkable water. Roughly 80% of gas stations are open. David Begnaud spoke with Puerto Rico's governor and asked if he wanted another extension of the Jones Act, which has made transporting supplies to the island difficult.
Homeland Security decided not to grant another waiver of the Jones Act. Do you favor that? Are you okay with that?
Well, we think there still needs to be more evaluation. We've been talking to the administration, so hopefully that final decision is still at hand, and obviously they should reevaluate it so that we can get that extension.
Would you like another waiver of the Jones Act?
I think I haven't been able to evaluate if it has helped or not, but certainly it hasn't hindered. So while we're at the emergency, it would be best to have all options available to the people of Puerto Rico.
You know enough, right? You know why it was needed in the first place. You know going forward. Do you want another extension?
Yes, we would like an extension. What I'm saying is that within the 10-day extension, we really haven't had enough data to state if it was helpful or not.
So they're saying it's not necessary.
Right.
You agree with that?
I think we still need to see, but at this juncture, emergency phase, why not use all the tools at hand for Puerto Rico?
There were some complaints that not enough cleanup was being done in San Juan. Drains were clogged, and that was leading to more flooding. Today you went there, you brought crews and cleaned it. Is it better?
Well, actually, I've been through San Juan for the past couple of weeks, and this has been an ongoing problem that hasn't presented itself anywhere else in Puerto Rico. Yesterday, I went also as it was raining and flooding in some of these areas, and you could see the massive amounts of debris just waiting there, and it was a major cause for the flooding. So there was still some debris in the morning. We went with our teams and we started taking it away.
Is it better?
It is better. It is better, but certainly it's unfortunately that it wasn't handled by the municipality as it should have.
Did you talk to the mayor about why that wasn't cleaned up?
I did not speak to the mayor about that.
Okay. How many isolated areas are still in urgent need of supplies?
In Puerto Rico, the isolated areas have decreased. We've identified 15 municipalities that still qualify as that. So we're giving priority to those municipalities, getting more rounds of food, water, and accessibility to fuel as well. So there's about 15 within the middle of the island that we're focusing on. But certainly, David, we have 125 missions every day. So most municipalities are receiving at least 2 missions a day with food and water.
And David Begnaud is with us now from San Juan. David, we just saw your interview with the governor. What else is he pushing for?
Well, a couple of things. Let me talk about the letter he sent to Congress today, okay? He said one estimate is that it could cost around $90 billion to rebuild Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. He says that the municipalities are unable to meet the basic needs. And he estimates that Puerto Rico is on the verge of a liquidity crisis. I mean, his letter was pretty dire in what he sent to congressional leaders. Let me backtrack a little bit. You heard him make a dig toward the mayor of San Juan, is basically saying she wasn't doing enough. The mayor of San Juan says we've been doing the work. We just aren't getting as much of the help as we need to get. You know, the mayor of San Juan, Yulene Cruz, has been in a pretty well-publicized back and forth with the federal government, complaining they're not doing enough. For the most part, she and the governor have been talking, but the governor said what he saw wasn't happening fast enough, so he went in there with some of his own cleanup crews. Let's talk about the boil water advisory. Half the island has water, Elaine, but the people who have water are being told to boil it. And a lot of people are saying to us, how do you boil water if you don't even have the power, right? You don't even have the stove to turn on to heat up to boil the water. The governor is encouraging people, even in those situations, if you've got a generator, if you can do it, if you can go to a neighbor's house, if you can go to your municipality and borrow a generator to heat it up, it takes about 3 minutes to boil the water. But listen, we have come back to Puerto Rico. It's more than 2 weeks after the hurricane, and things are still as dire today as they were when we left a week ago. I just got off the phone with a woman whose husband is an Army veteran. He's with 12 other veterans on the western tip of the island. They're in an area known as Añasco. They have posted on Facebook that they are running into red tape, trying to get basic supplies to people. They're having trouble finding supplies. They're having trouble finding the municipality that apparently has the supplies. And what they do have and they're handing out, they're giving 6 bottles of water and a few snacks to an entire family. And maybe that family has to have just that water and snacks for a day, two, maybe even more. We told the governor about it. He told us that he will look into it. Every time we talk to the governor about it, Elaine, he mentions those 5 isolated areas, says they're getting them as much aid as they can. And let me wrap up with this. The governor is bothered by allegations that donations are being mishandled. There are allegations that municipalities are either not handing out the aid that should be handed out, maybe some of the donations are being mishandled and stolen. Bottom line, the governor has ordered an island-wide investigation. He's ordered the state authorities to investigate whether or not these donations are not getting to the people who need it.
Well, still very much a dire situation there. David Begnaud in San Juan, Puerto Rico for us. David, thank you.
You bet.